Hey, this is the Homestead Garden Series. Stay tuned, I'm going to take you out in the garden and show you what I've got growing this year in my garden. And guess what? Today is Thanksgiving Day. To me it is. To you guys it's later in the month. So let's go to the garden. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is a frugal homestead tucked up in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. And I've been learning how to garden. Now that I'm retired, I can spend more time in learning more about what I can grow throughout all the seasons. Yes, all the seasons, like I mentioned in the bumper. Today is Thanksgiving Day to me, but to you guys, it's later in the month. So, being the end of November, let me give you an overview of what's going on in the garden, and then I've got to harvest some items for the Thanksgiving table. Yeah, we're going to supply as much as we can from our own homestead for the Thanksgiving table. So, let's go. I got brassicas right here. These are Brussels sprouts. Yeah, planted Brussels sprouts here. These are radish. Boy, let me show you the radish I'm harvesting in a moment. And this is what they call a daikon radish. Wow. You guys should see how big these are and what I'm going to do with them in the kitchen. But follow me in my Dude in the Kitchen series, because I'm going to be cooking up some radish and processing radish, 3 different rays, 3 different types of radish, and turnip. Yeah. I have turnip right here, and right next to it is Swiss chard. Yep, we're going to harvest some Swiss chard. We're going to saute that with some butter and garlic and serve it as a green. And there's some more brassicas. Brassicas are really hardy in frost. I have carrots growing over here. Any root crop grows great in the cold season. Here I have some more brassicas. I have a variety of lettuce. This is a head variety of lettuce, and it's growing out. Some of them I started from seed in the greenhouse. This is another form of lettuce that I planted. Look, it's got frost on it, but it's still not dead. And then, of course, I got my onions right here. Over here, I got more brassicas. I got cabbage, and I got 2 different variety of cabbage growing in here, and I got cabbage growing over here in this bed. So we've got about 2 dozen heads of cabbage growing. And other produce I've already harvested and canned, and it's in the larder. So we're going to go harvest from the larder also for the Thanksgiving table. But stay tuned for the Dude in the Kitchen series for that episode. Let me show you just how big this produce is getting. Now this is a smaller radish. It's a salad variety that I use in the salads. There's small radish, and there's a larger variety that grow bigger. Here's an example of just how big they get. And then right here is the daikon radish. Those things are monsters, huge. And this is what they call a daikon radish. Wow. You guys should see how big these are and what I'm going to do with them in the kitchen. And then I got my turnips in here. They've grown out quite nicely. This is Swiss chard. This grows very well in cold climates throughout the winter months. So now I'm going to take you into the greenhouse and show you what I've got growing in the greenhouse this Thanksgiving Day. Yes, I've only had to use the heat once this year. Let me turn the music off. Yeah, I've only had to use the heat once this year, and that was only for about 4 hours just to bring it up high enough so it doesn't freeze. Because these black barrels and the cement floor are really doing the job at absorbing the heat when the sun's up and then releasing the heat at night, and keeping it above freezing. Right now it's 68 degrees in here, which is well above freezing. So let me show you what I got real quick in here. I've got leaf lettuce that we harvest from. We've been harvesting like crazy from that, eating salads. These will be going on the Thanksgiving table, plus the mustard greens. We harvest those. They keep growing like crazy. Oh my gosh. Some of my seeds are growing. I've got tomatoes growing down here. Yes, tomatoes in the greenhouse though on Thanksgiving. I've never had that happen before. Becky's houseplants are thriving very well. I even pulled some starts off of them and I've started them up over here. We even got some starts going up there from the plants out front. I'm gonna plant a lot of those types of plants that are growing along the front of the house because they really attract the honeybees and the bumblebees. Yep, I'm trying to save the bees. I'll also get to pruning my grapes. I know that the commercial vineyards are pruning right now. I noticed them pruning yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and fine-tune my pruning skills, and we're going to come out and prune 2 different styles of pruning. Yeah, there's several different styles of pruning, but I have 2 of them that I'm going to be employing right here on my homestead. Well, that's it on my homestead garden episode, just sharing with you guys what's growing in the garden and what I've planned. I strategized very carefully this year because I really wanted to grow throughout the year, and experimenting too, paying attention to what grows in what climate that does very well. And now I know brassicas, root crops, some other varieties of plants. I just look on Google for the growing zone that I live in and what does well in my growing zone. Also, living here for 10 years, it gave me the ability to observe. 10 years in observing and practicing and finding out what the climate does. I did notice that, you know, there's microclimates, especially when you live in mountainous regions. People who live in the plains basically have one climate for hundreds of miles around. In Oregon, where I live, you can drive 5 miles in any one direction and you can have a totally different climate. I mean, we have the beach about 60 miles as the crow flies, 60 or 80 miles to the crow flies. To the west of us, we have high desert, 60 miles. To the east of us, we have snow-capped mountains really close because we live in close proximity to Crater Lake National Park, and they get a lot of snow up there. And then we have the Redwood National Forest and the rainforest within a few miles to the west of us. So any direction you go, you're going to have a different climate. And we live in a little valley tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest, kind of tucked between Crater Lake National Park and the Redwoods. So our climate, we call it a microclimate. So what fits for everybody else in Oregon doesn't necessarily fit for us. And so that's what I've learned out of 10 years of trying to grow stuff and refine and define my growing capabilities. Well, anyway, I'm Jerry Hansen, your host. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm and the Garden Series. Please stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing, clicking that bell icon. That'll alert you to new videos as I upload them. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors. Be safe, always be kind, and go have an adventure. I'm having awesome adventure after adventure after adventure. Bye-bye now.